The Brainiac Corporation. Every day, a crack team of Britain's finest minds get to grips with the fundamentals of scientific knowledge and understanding.
Welcome.
So step inside, but prepare yourself for a bumpy ride as we embark on the worst excesses that are Brainiac Science Abuse.
Welcome to Brainiac, the bog-eyed, hunchbacked stepchild in the family of science.
The big science tonight.
Drop!
What's Britain's biggest splat? How dangerous are underwater explosions?
What?
And science gets a slap in the face. But first, in a galaxy far, far away, just off the M25, lies the Brainiac Space Center, boldly pushing the boundaries of rocket science because there's some stuff NASA never tried.
Can rockets help an old-timer get to the upstairs lavvy before it's too late?
Young intergalactic explorers boldly go where no man has gone before. But you're 93, and the only place you want to boldly go is the toilet.
Constance here is in desperate need of jettisoning some waste products. So, we've come to her rescue with these rockets. Each one of these will produce superheated 8-foot flames, sending her up to the privy in the most dignified way possible. The world's first rocket-powered stairlift. NASA never tried this. OK, Brainiacs, clear the launch site. Lift off in numerous seconds. And now it's time for those all-important final checks. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lift off! Outstanding!
That launch was slightly unstable, but it had a lot of thrust, a bit like my own anti-Ada.
There's a leg, there's a leg, there's a cardigan. This is the upper torso of the old lady, and there's the stairlift there with part of her on that. A small price to pay for that wonderful sense of relief. The results, please? Thank you. So, when old ladies eventually relieve themselves on the upper floors of Uranus, you can't say that the Brainiac rocket scientists didn't have a little bit to do with that. Take that to NASA.
At the end of a grueling day abusing science, our Brainiac indulges in a warm bowl of his most favoritist thing in the whole world, custard. And each night as he drifts off into a custard-induced sleep, his tiny subconscious mind transports him to a magical world. A world of custard dreams. And at its heart, a deep pool of custard. Due to custard being a non-Newtonian fluid, Brainiac knows if he slaps the surface hard enough, he can psych race and run across it. But stop moving and he will sink. So how will he attempt to cross the custard tonight? The classic 70s mode of transport that is the space hopper. So this is it. One Brainiac against one pool of custard. The moment of truth.
Feel the non-Newtonian force, young Brainiac.
Any second now. Any second now. Well, go on then. Oh, dear. The space hopper slides off the slippery surface of the custard, and our Brainiac sinks into the liquid. He could have made it if he wasn't so clumsy. But it was just a dream. Or was it? In the Brainiac slow motion facility, a small team are devoted to the remarkable line of research we call things, but very slowly. So what's this week's thing, but very slowly? A slap in the face. Normally, this isn't recommended. Or very nice. But let's see it again. Very slowly. Seen at 4,000 frames per second, the slap seems to dislodge the Brainiac's face. When the cheek is struck, a shockwave travels through the skin's collagen, arriving at the opposite cheek almost instantaneously. Then, the skin vibrates as the elastic fibers wobble under the force of the blow. All this in 1/10 of a second. A slap in the face. One more thing, but very slowly.
I love hard things.
10 hard things brought in by 10 viewers will face Tyler's 3 hardness tests. 1 ton of bricks, 1 angle grinder, and 1 pot of thermite in a bid to top Tyler's hard ranker leaderboard.
Today's very hard thing has been brought in by Colin from Liverpool. Hello, Colin.
Hello, Tyler.
How hard is your thing?
Pretty hard.
Let's have a look at it. Colin, what is it?
It's a bowling ball.
Is it a bowling ball with a dynamically imbalanced core constructed of reactive and proactive urethane? All right, let's find out how hard it is.
The first test is an impact from a ton of bricks.
Get 'em up, boys!
The bowling ball is designed to smash 10 pins to smithereens on a daily basis, but will it be able to cope with a taste of its own medicine?
3, 2, 1, release!
The bowling ball is overwhelmed by a sea of bricks, but somehow it's not only survived, it's virtually unscathed, giving it a hardness rating of 9 out of 10. But can we grind it into submission?
Come on, Brainiac.
Embarrassingly, the bowling ball immediately takes on the hardness of a ball of Edam, giving it an unimpressive abrasion rating of 2 out of 10.
The grinder's made easy work of old Bally.
And things are about to get a lot worse.
The bowling ball is sitting beneath my pot of thermite.
Will it be able to hold firm under a deluge of 2,500 degrees?
Strike!
Despite the early fireworks, the urethane bowling ball smiles through the flames, giving it a heat resistance rating of 8 out of 10.
Take him away.
The bowling ball scored a total of 20 points, putting it straight in at first place.
How hard do I rank it? Very hard. How hard is your thing?
Next time, how hard is a safe?
Greetings, gas pumpers, and welcome to my weekly webcast, the science phenomenon that is
GasBangWallop.com. Brought to you by me, Barry Bernard, and my trusty companion there. Behind the camera, it's Clive. Enough gassing from me. Let's get down to some proper gas, bang, wallop.
This week, it's Clive's family desk, which he only keeps now for sentimental reasons, as Grandad Roy died on it.
Let's gas it up. Come on, out the way, Clive. Look, Clive, look at those sweat marks. It's disgusting.
Don't point them out.
The writing is quite literally on the wall for this desk, thanks to my special mix of gases in here, which for national security reasons I cannot reveal the identity of. Right, I'm going to put the gases under the desk now. Clive, are you filming my backside again? Prepare to witness the unrivalled supremacy of the gaseous state. Right, leg it, Clive, leg it. Get in position. Right, are you ready? You don't want to miss this one. Whoa! GasBangWallop.com, the #1 destination for gas-related balloonacy.
Professor Mayang Lee, bringing beauty as well as brains to the world of Brainiac. Recently, the prof has turned her attentions to the field of fluid dynamics, finding out which objects disappear down the toilet when she flushes. So, what's inside Mayang Lee's clam this week? A toupee. Favoured by the bolder gentleman, it's usually kept dry on top of the head. But how will it get on in the depths of Mayang's toilet with 20 litres of water cascading down upon it? Will it flush or float? Also to come, it's Killcoin versus Bunhead in Chemistry Deathmatch. Would you retrieve a £10 note from under some poo? And what's Britain's biggest splat?
Brainiac.
This is Brainiac, a verruca on the naked foot of Lady Science.
Professor Mayang Lee sent a toupee into the swirling waters of her beach-based bomb. But will it flush or float? It's a flusher! The large surface area of the toupee ensured it took the full force of the flush. Thanks, Prof. Nice clam.
Like everyone, I love a good splat. A custard pie in the face. A flick of paint on an easel. A fly exploding beneath a rolled-up newspaper. Today we find out what's Britain's biggest splat. A splat is what happens when a collection of matter flattens on impact with a hard surface like this.
And we're going to drop 3 different collections of matter from a height of 60 metres and measure the size of each splat using numbers. First up,
we've got a ton of jelly, raspberry style. It's made from gelatin, which is extracted from cattle bones and pig skin, boiled down and soaked in acid. Lovely.
the jelly's wobbly state makes it the bounciest of all the desserts, which should help it to splat over a large area.
Let's see the dessert hit the dirt. Drop!
Oh, yes! The jelly accelerated groundwards at 9.8 meters per second, like any object would, reaching 60 miles per hour on impact, giving us a nice big splat.
Oh, look at that superbly sweet splat. But how far did the splat travel? Let's have a look. There's plenty of splatter all the way over here. And as we head up here, I think this is the final piece of jelly which bounced from there to an absolutely extraordinary 21.5 metres.
So, our first contestant, a ton of jelly, splats in with a very impressive 21.5 metres. But can we do better?
Next, a ton of melons, just the way I like them. Soft, tender, juicy and sweet. Ideal for a well-aimed splat.
Melons are 92% water, so this ton of the buxom fruit is about to splat 920 litres of juice over a wide area. But how wide?
Well, they really are very, very big melons, but the bigger they come, the harder they fall. And it's quite a tense pre-splat moment here, but I think we're ready. OK? Drop!
Splat attack! The melons produce a juicy splat, and look at that pink melon haze.
Excellent. Here's the epicentre, so let's measure now and find out exactly how far the furthest piece of melon went. 20 metres, moving at 25 metres, there's a piece there at 30, and a piece here, 35 metres, 34 metres exactly.
And that's 12.5 metres more than the ton of jelly managed, which makes melons our new leader. But can we splat a bigger splat than that?
Our final entrant is a ton of dung. Now, dung is soft, wet and smelly. 3 characteristics it shares with Brainiacs. And if my own experiences are anything to go by, it's a hot favourite.
If you've ever seen a cow making its business, you'll know just how much a pat can splat. But what about 1,000 cows worth falling from the equivalent of a 10-storey building?
Unleash the filth! Drop!
Whoa! Another huge splat, big enough to break even the hardiest of toilet bowls. But is it Britain's biggest splat?
You can go and measure up there. Go! Go!
He's off to find the farthest flung piece of dung, but will it beat the melon splat of 34 metres?
Well, what are the results? Let's have a look. With an incredible 35.5 metres, that dung splat is the clear winner.
So there you have it. It's a number 2 at number 1. When it comes to finding Britain's biggest splat, forget jelly and melons, it's manure that's top of the plops. The bagpipes, invented by Sean Connery when he accidentally crossed a child's recorder with an unhappy cat. It's the perfect musical instrument for funerals. But can it be made fun with helium, the party gas? Dear sweet Lord, even fun-loving helium can't cheer up the bagpipes.
That's much better.
Of course it is. You've stopped playing.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for Chemistry Deathmatch! Featuring Professor John Chemical Kilcoyne and science's biggest loser, Bunhead!
Last time, Bunhead's loud bang levelled the scores at 1 round each. But who can produce the most foam?
Gentlemen, now I want a good, clean fight. Now turn to your corners and prepare your chemicals.
Kilcoyne there using washing up liquid iodine and hydrogen peroxide, or H2O2. There it is there. This is odd. No chemicals for Bunhead, just soapy water. What's he playing at there?
Professor, please produce your foam.
And there's the foam, climbing out of the bucket as the iodine causes the peroxide to decompose, the resulting gas bubbling through the soap solution and creating foam. Stupendous.
Bunhead, please produce your foam.
Just soapy water for Bunhead. Then, oh well, what's this here? Liquid nitrogen, he kept that quiet. The liquid nitrogen boiling away there as it hits the warm soapy water. But what's going on beneath that veil of nitrogen gas? Is that foam? Man alive, it's everywhere! A unanimous decision, but not a popular one, giving Bunhead the lead. Join us for round 4 when our titans of titration will compete to produce the best flash. There are some experiments that can't be done in a lab. They have to be done undercover. For today's experiment, we need £10. But what's a tenner worth? For instance, is it worth touching stained underpants? Before long, there's quite a commotion going on around the pants. Many shoppers are happy to make a grab for the tenner, but less willing to pocket the soiled undies as well. It takes an altogether braver soul to get stuck in and separate note from crusted pant. But there seems to be enough of them about, and after just half an hour, 4 shoppers have walked away with a tenner, happy to have handled our briefs. So if a tenner's worth handling someone else's stained underwear, what else is it worth? For instance, is it worth touching a pile of sick? We're disgusted by things for a very good reason, to protect us from catching disease. But, faced with a powerful enough incentive, this natural response can be overridden. And it only seems to take a tenner. After half an hour, 5 eager shoppers have walked away with a slightly soggy £10 note. So if sick doesn't put people off, there's only one thing left to try. Poo. Surely a tenner isn't worth touching this. We find unfamiliar things more disgusting than familiar ones, so someone else's poo is worse than our own. And even though there are still takers, they're doing everything in their power to avoid touching the turd. Nevertheless, after half an hour, we've had 3 happy customers. A little rub down, and it's as good as new. So it seems that for many of us, a tenner is well worth handling sick. For a few, it's worth grappling with stained pants. But for some of us, a tenner is even worth the risk of touching poo.
Come in. Stand over there for me, please. Right, Mr. Tickle, what can we do for you today?
Nurse, I'm bored. Can you show me something interesting that I can do with my body?
Certainly. Try this. Please sit down and take off your right shoe and sock. Okay. Now, put this pen between your toes and draw circles.
Okay.
Now, keep drawing the circles. At the same time, sign your name here.
Okay.
Drawing a circle and signing your name are similar actions controlled by the same part of the brain. When you try to do both at the same time, the brain gets confused and one action dominates, making the other impossible to do.
You can't really do it.
No, I can't. Oh, that's fascinating. Thanks, nurse. That's going to keep me amused for hours.
Not at all. Goodbye, Mr. Tickle.
Goodbye.
Bibs. They protect your garments from spillages associated with everyday dining. But what if you're too old to wear a bib? You'll have to rely on Mother Nature. So what's the best natural bib?
Down at the lab, we've got 3 food-catching devices designed by nature. A crusty beard, buxom bosoms, and a huge belly. But which is the best natural bib? They're going to eat a 3-course meal. The one with the least food on their white trousers will be the winner. First, the starter, crispy bread rolls.
Begin eating.
And they're off. The beard looks a clear favourite in this round, the Velcro qualities of the matted hair doing a good job of latching onto the irregular crumbs. The bosom appears to be catching the smaller crumbs, but the larger chunks of bread easily fall off the smooth, curved surface. Like the boobs, and I do, the huge belly also has a smooth surface, but thankfully the similarities end there. Its sheer girth is stopping the majority of the crumbs from reaching the white trousers. Next, the main course, a dish favoured by the British when holidaying in Spain, spaghetti bolognese. And the beard's wasting no time in washing it down with a glass of red wine. Again, the belly doing well at holding the spillage at bay, the food finding purchase on the... Oh dear, the wine has washed it all away and onto the trousers. That doesn't look good. The bosoms are hopeless, the greasy pasta sliding easily between them and being channeled directly onto the trousers. Another disappointing performance. But the beard's doing a fine job of soaking up the wine and the sloppy sauce with its sponge-like absorbent quality. Finally, it's the dessert. Choux pastry eclairs coated with sticky chocolate sauce and filled with slippery, squirty cream. Straight away, it's obvious the bosoms are not up to the job. Yet again, they provide the food with the perfect path to the trousers. That leaves just 2 contenders to battle it out. It's neck and neck, or belly and beard anyway. But oh dear, it looks as if the belly's smooth slope is too slippery and the food slides straight off. Dinner over, and the bosoms are coated, but most of the food is on the trousers. Breast is not best. The steady slippage onto the lap could mean that the belly's gone belly up. And the crusty beard has held on to enough food for a second meal later. But who is our winner?
The best natural bib is the beard.
Yeah! And now it's official, and heartfelt congratulations all round. To save yourself from embarrassing spillage during a hot date, grow a crusty beard.
Things what my body does.
Hi, my name's Anita, and the thing what my body does is...
The torso can bend forward by pivoting at the hips and flexing the lower spine. In most normal people, the range of motion is limited by connective tissues and fear of ripping your trousers.
Dear John, ever since my neighbours accused me of snooping on them over the garden fence, I've had a feeling that they've been talking about me. I've tried to confirm this by listening to them through the wall. Is the glass tumbler the best household listening device, or can you suggest something better? Yours truly, Terry Green from Leon C. Well, Terry, let's not waste any time. Brainiacs, get in and prepare the bedroom. Sound coming through the wall travels off in all directions, but the glass traps the sound, making the waves resonate inside, and that amplifies the sound and makes it easier to hear. Strange. Enough! Now get the equipment ready.
I'm going to find out which is the best device around the home for listening through walls. The sound will be a computerised voice, controlled by the Brainiacs in the next room, which will be constantly decreasing in volume to make it more difficult to hear.
I've taped this microphone to my ear as backup evidence of sound wave conveyance.
Stand by, Brainiacs.
First up, I'm going to set the benchmark with the standard glass tumbler.
John has a pair of lumpy, uneven pillows. John spent last night with a big man. His bed's...
No, it's got too quiet. What I did hear was that I've got a pair of big, lumpy, uneven pillows, and apparently I spent last night in bed with a manual. So, we've set the standard with the glass tumbler. Let's see what our other devices can do and whether they match up.
Last night with a big man. His bed smells of pee.
Oh, I definitely got further that time. It was a lot louder. I got into the third sentence, my breath smells of, but then I couldn't work out what it was. OK, next thing.
His bed smells of pea, nut butter.
Ah, yes, that works quite well. It's my bed that smells of pee, although I don't think I've got to the end of the third sentence. The thing about the cone is that it acts a bit like a giant seashell, so there's a lot of ambient echoing going on. What's next?
After trying a number of other household items, an ice cream cone, a tin can, the tube from some wrapping paper, and some drain pipe, I reckon that the characteristics I'm looking for are all present in the simple paper cup.
It's the same shape as the glass tumbler, but it's thinner, so I'm hoping I ought to be able to hear through it more easily. It's also cone-shaped, but it's closed at this end, which means I shouldn't get the echoing I got with the traffic cone. Fingers crossed, I've got high hopes for this one.
John is a big fan of dictionaries.
I'm a big fan of dictionaries. That's it, I've got all the way to the end of the fourth sentence. It's a clear win for the paper cup. Good work, Brainiac.
John has a microscopic wimple. I have seen it.
In our quest for more microwave knowledge, we've upgraded. Our new one is almost as big as a man. See? Hey, you!
Stop! The following experiment is dangerous. Do not try this at home. I implore you.
What happens if you put a lit candle in a big microwave? Just pop it on full power and get out of there as fast as your legs will carry you. But what will happen next? Will the candle A. produce plasma balls, B. erupt into a molten fountain of wax, or C. Tuesday? Also to come, how powerful is an underwater explosion? How many electric shocks will make a mime artist scream? Aha! And will Frank Bruno save his treasured possession?
This is Brainiac, the science show that jabs its finger in the eye of reason. For no reason.
We asked you what would happen to a lit candle in a big microwave. The correct answer is A. It produces plasma balls. The microwaves strip electrons off the atoms in the candle flame, forming an ionized gas, the fourth state of matter known as plasma. The puffs of plasma then put on a very pretty display. We do these experiments so you don't have to. Do not try this at home.
You know what, John?
What's that, Vic?
I love sound. The sound of music, the sound of nature. But most of all, I love the sound of explosions.
So do I, Vic.
And I was thinking, what would an explosion sound like underwater?
There's only one foreseeable drawback with that, though, Vic.
What's that?
It would kill you. An underwater explosion is even more dangerous than an explosion on land.
I want physical proof.
I'm glad you said that, Vic.
So what's going to happen, John?
Well, Vic, I've got this small explosive charge. Let's see what happens when we detonate this charge in the air next to this mannequin.
Good.
You do the honours, Vic.
Thank you, John.
I wouldn't want to hold one, even at arm's length, but that was pretty unimpressive, and the mannequin was hardly touched. Time for an underwater explosion.
Right, our mannequin is going to stand next to this water cooler. We're using exactly the same explosive charge as we had before, but this time, of course, it's encased in water.
3, 2, 1.
Sweet devastation! The water-based bomb dispatched smithereens hither and yon, sending the mannequin flying to the ground.
John, why was that so much more powerful?
Water, like all liquids, is uncompressible, so the force of the explosion is transferred through the liquid up until the point of impact.
But that first charge wasn't inside a bottle, was it? And that's not a very scientific comparison.
In effect, what you're saying is we need identical explosive charges in identical containers, but one filled with water, one filled with air.
Exactly, John. But that was our last water bottle container.
Oh.
The next morning, I've arranged for something better than water cooler bottles.
John, I give you 2 identical containers. One empty, one filled with delicious real ale. But look at this, steel reinforcing rings around this, the hardest of woods, oak. Does your theory still hold true, John?
I'm sure that science will rise to the occasion, Vic.
Well, let's find out.
The first charge to be detonated is in the empty barrel.
3, 2, 1...
Apart from popping its lid, the barrel was relatively unscathed. Next up, it's the barrel filled with beer. How much more destructive will the exact same explosive charge be now it's surrounded by liquid?
3, 2, 1... It's disappeared.
Well, unlike the empty barrel where the air cushioned the blow, all the force of the explosion was transferred
through the beer.
Yes, so all of the energy went and hit the wood and exploded it massively.
And the smell of strong beer hangs in the air. Can you smell it, John?
Yes, we've almost made an alcoholic fog.
We've tricked a variety of acts into auditioning for a new talent show to find out if they can still perform while receiving electric shocks. After applying high voltage pads to today's auditionee, it's time to say hello.
Hello. What's your name? And what do you do? Mime? Whenever you're ready.
He's nice and quiet, like a mime artist should be, but unfortunately for him, it's the quiet before the storm. The electrical storm. This is the first time he's made any noise since 1984. And by crying out in pain, he's broken the sacred rule of mime. Staying silent. Mime. Another act you can't perform while being shocked with electricity.
Well, thank you very much. There's a real door through there.
Okay, let's try and melt them
Next
together.
time.
1, 2, 3.
The goat. Worldwide population, around 1 billion. A proud beard wearer and for thousands of years ritually sacrificed for the good of religious communities. The Brainiac. Population, 32.5. Also a proud beard wearer and for thousands of years ritually sacrificed for the good of science. Today we find out who leaves the least leftovers when they eat. Brainiac or goat? Both contestants will eat just about anything, but can they eat these foods without leaving anything behind? After some fears that one of the contestants doesn't fully understand what's going on, the competition gets underway. First up, an apple. A fruit favoured by scientists such as Sir Isaac Newton, who used one to invent gravity. The goat's eaten it all in one go. The Brainiac having trouble with the core, but he's just about finished it all. No waste there from either contestant, so it's all square as we move on to the main course. A carrot, complete with skin and dangly green bits. If they don't eat the whole thing, they lose. Again, the goat finds it easy, as does the Brainiac, who also manages to eat the entire thing. So it's the final deciding round. A banana. Even monkeys peel the thick, bitter-tasting skin off before they eat them, but can either of our two competitors eat the whole thing? Once more, the goat gets stuck right in, safe in the knowledge that its 4 stomachs will deal with anything it guzzles down. The Brainiac's single stomach, however, cannot cope, and so his body is refusing to let him eat the revolting yellow rind. And it looks like he's given up. The winner of this week's Brainiac vs. Beast is... Beast. After trawling the streets of Britain for some of the world's best-loved celebrities, we whisked them off to take part in the science event of the year. Stars in their caravans.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Stars in Their Caravans with your hosts Dolly Boy and Dolly Girl. We've trapped a selection of desperate stars in 10 shabby caravans. They can only leave when their name is randomly selected and their caravan destroyed. It's week 3 and our celebs are nicely settled in. Anthony Worrell Thompson is considering breaking open his cheap whiskey miniatures. He's just a little worried about what happened last time. But it's time to select a celeb. And who will the Ofcom regulated arrow of destiny choose today? Well, fancy that! Tough luck, Blackburn. Knock, knock, Frank Bruno. We're letting you go, just as soon as you played long fuse, short fuse. Frank, inside your caravan is one of your treasured possessions. Would you like to tell us what it is?
My mug with Fergie and Princess Andrew.
Ah, yes. Commemorating their lovely 1986 marriage. It'll never last. Because it's sitting next to Super Brainiac's dynamite! We're about to ask you a science question, Frank. Get it right, and we'll light the long fuse, giving you a chance to save your mug. Get it wrong, and it's the short fuse, and bye-bye, Andrew and Fergie. Okay, here's your science question. In quantum mechanics, quarks come in 3 pairs of flavors. Charm and strange, up and down, bottom, and what other flavor?
Strawberries?
Is incorrect, Frank. The correct answer is top. Better leg it, Frank. The short fuse is already lit. Time for the knockout blow. Know what I mean, Harry? Dynamite was invented as a safe-to-handle form of TNT. But it's not so safe when lit, knocking 7 bells out of a caravan. Reminiscent of Frank in his heyday. Just without the glass jaw. That's the end of your mug, Frank. But unlike our other celebrities, at least you're free to go.
Thanks, Brainiac.
No problem, champ. And thank you for playing Stars in Their Caravans.